Buffalo's rich stadium, where quarterback Joe Ferguson returned from a year of injury carrying a football. It would be the last time a Bill would have a firm grip on things all afternoon. Through 4 rain-soaked periods, the Bills treated the football like bubonic plague, avoiding contact with it whenever possible. The veteran Miami Dolphins, on the other hand, occasionally showed a bit more poise, like on this 22-yard sprint by Norm Bulash, the game's only touchdown. But on a day like this one, Bulash's effort proved quite enough. Buffalo's strong offense never did get on track, as O.J. and company played water polo with every scoring opportunity. The Bills haven't beaten Miami since 1969. Last Sunday was no exception. But while there was sadness in Buffalo, there was good old down-home contentment. This season, a Rocky Mountain high means more than pretty girls and powder blue sky. 73,000 season ticket holders are grooving on the new-look Denver Broncos and their recycled quarterback, Craig Morton. Morton had formerly flunked in Dallas and New York, but against the Buffalo Bills, he continued to impress the Rocky Mountain West. Tight end Riley Odom scored 1 touchdown, and running back Otis Armstrong set up another with his gift for open field improvisation. Equally impressive in Denver's fast start is the aggressive Bronco defense led by pugilistic Lyle Alzado, number 77. Alzado and his mates harassed the Bills incessantly, forcing 2 fumbles and 3 interceptions, holding O.J. Simpson to less than 3 yards a carry, sacking Joe Ferguson 4 times, and dealing out a year's worth of bumps and bruises. So what if nobody outside Denver thinks they're for real? The Broncos tattled off to a 26-7 put-down of the Bills for their 2nd straight victory. Now all they have to do is beat out the world champion Oakland Raiders, and the division is theirs. Those same Raiders were in Pittsburgh last. Meanwhile, in Baltimore, the Colts were hoping to ride roughshod over the Bills. They began by corralling O.J. Simpson and holding him to a less than juicy 52 yards rushing. Forced to the air, Bills quarterback Joe Ferguson found a highly unusual method of putting 6 points on the scoreboard. Now, just follow the bouncing ball. Number 47, Curtis Brown, finally came up with a much-traveled pass, and the Bills had 14 points. When Baltimore had the ball, Burt Jones led his forces to a 17-point afternoon. Not exactly a big splurge for the Colts, who've been racked by injuries to important personnel, but it was enough to keep their record squeaky clean. So now the Colts are 3-0 and the Bills are 0-3. What's it all mean? Well, just follow the bouncing helmet. Once upon a time, the most feared of all offenses in the league was the Buffalo Bills. But since O.J.'s 2,003-yard season, the Bills have traveled to the opposite end of the spectrum. Their one remaining gem is Simpson, a talent who can still turn disappearing routines into 50-yard gainers. Against the Jets last Sunday, the efforts of the Juice meshed beautifully with quarterback Joe Ferguson and receiver Lou Picone, and these results earned the Bills an early lead. One touchdown had the confetti flying in Buffalo's rich stadium, and for good reason. The Bills were playing the New York Jets, a team that seems to dig deep in their playbook only to emerge each Sunday with the same old play. Frustration is something New York has shown they can run to the right or left, or from any formation. But this season, new head coach Walt Michaels has second-year pro Richard Todd showing confidence few knew he possessed. Todd's poise was impressive last Sunday, and victory was secured when the second-year pro sent Clark Gaines left. 17 yards later, the New York Jets were the proud owners of their second win of the season, 24-19. Meetings like this don't count for much in terms of title contention, but as the season lengthens and the wins come harder, victories like these are all they have to remember. No one could really blame the Buffalo Bills for wanting to beat their heads on something. After all, before last Sunday, Buffalo had yet to win a single game for head coach Jim Ringo, having dropped 14 straight. Against the red-hot Atlanta Falcons, however, the tide turned, and the man who turned it was the juice. O.J. Simpson slid through Atlanta for 138 yards to surpass the 10,000-yard career rushing mark, and was something Atlanta's new head coach Lehman Bennett would just as soon not have seen. For while his Falcons held the Bills to a mere 3 points, in the end it was enough to let the Bills enjoy a 3-0 victory. The worst catastrophe since the Buffalo snow of this past winter was finally over. But they're not alone in the penthouse, because in Buffalo, the Browns continued to play tough, exciting football. Running back Greg Pruitt hit running back Cleo Miller for one score as the Browns overcame an early Bills lead with a display of tenacity. But even better than tenacity was luck, which quarterback Brian Sipe certainly had on this deflection, which nestled nicely into the arms of Paul Warfield, who hustled into the end zone. The Bills gave a valiant effort at catching up on this 91-yard punt return by cornerback Keith Moody. Moody traveled far enough for 2 touchdowns, which is what the Bills would have needed as they finally fell 27-16 for their 5th loss of the year. Meanwhile, in the Seattle Kingdome, the Buffalo Bills tried their luck with the NFL's other expansion team. Unfortunately for Buffalo, John Kimbrough's third-quarter touchdown came when the Bills were already behind by 46 points. And they were put there by the passing of number 10, Jim Zorn. Returning after a month on the injured list, Zorn ran for 1 touchdown and passed for 4 others, one of them to disappearing Duke Ferguson, number 89. Jim Zorn led the Seahawks to 49 unanswered points and almost 600 yards of total offense. Number 80 wide receiver Steve Largent caught 2 touchdowns, but impressive as Zorn and Largent were, on this day, commemorative game balls were awarded to the entire Seattle team. As Jim Zorn said afterwards, "It's great to be young and in Seattle when everything goes the way it did for us in that one." Meanwhile, in New England, the only glimmer of hope the Bills seemed to have was the hope that the Patriots wouldn't show up. It was no surprise that the Pats did show, but they probably wished they hadn't once the missing O.J. Simpson's replacement, number 25, Roland Hooks, got underway. Hooks raced for 155 yards on 27 carries as the Bills took an early 14-0 lead. But the explosive New Englanders weren't worried because they figured they could run right past any team that would give up 56 points to an expansion club. And 93 yards was how far number 26, top draft pick Raymond Claiborne ran, and bringing the Patriots back to within striking distance. But the seemingly obvious comeback story had a surprise ending last week as the gutsy Bills defense rose to heights of grandeur and kept New England's Steve Grogan off balance and scrambling for survival. The clincher came when Grogan, pressing to catch up, forced a pass that was intercepted by number 24 safety Doug Jones, who got up and raced the Bills to a 24-14 win. A win which brought them from the depths of despair to the euphoric heights of Upset City, all within the space of 7 days. The Baltimore Colts and Buffalo Bills proved once and for all that boxing is dead. In the tradition of Richard Dunn, Alfredo Evangelista, and Jean-Pierre Koopman, the Lion of Flanders, everyone auditioned as the next bum of the month for Muhammad Ali. In a more serious moment, the Bills rope-a-doped the Colts when rookie John Kimbrough, number 82 from tiny St. Cloud State, raced 73 yards with a punt. The score gave Buffalo a short-lived 7-0 lead as the Colts defense, led by linebacker Tom McLeod, number 52, blitzed into the pass pocket of Joe Ferguson. The good running teams all have unselfish lead blockers like number 48 Roosevelt Leaks, who often pays a clear route for Lydell Mitchell, number 26. Mitchell scored twice and presented such a danger to Buffalo that when he was used as a decoy, the feints opened up the field for quarterback Burt Jones. If promoter Don King is interested, Jones has an excellent straight right hand, and the Baltimore Colts had enough punch to beat the Bills by a TKO 31-13. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, the Bills were trying to repeat their performance of 2 weeks earlier when they had beaten the Patriots in New England 24-14. The power of number 34, fullback Jim Braxton, had the Bills ahead 7-6 after 3 quarters. And another upset was definitely on everyone's mind. But this time, things didn't work out quite so smoothly for the O.J.less Bills. Number 14, New England quarterback Steve Grogan says, "When I'm running and it works, I have much more fun." Even though this touchdown was canceled by a penalty, Grogan still had a lot of fun as he rolled up more yards running than passing. But the big plays in the fourth quarter came from fullback Sam Cunningham, number 39, who ran for 2 touchdowns and saved the day for New England 20-7. When December brings winter to Buffalo, Bill football fans take whatever shelter there is available. Unfortunately, the football team has no place to hide. Without O.J. Simpson, all the antifreeze in the Northeast won't make Buffalo's sputtering offensive machine go. Last week against Washington, the Bills couldn't score a point, the second time this season they've been shut out. Better days lie ahead for Joe Ferguson and the Bills, days that will erase the sting of 1977's collapse. But last week, Buffalo's ill fortune was Washington's gain. Joe Theismann and the Redskins could conquer the Cold just once, but between Theismann's resourcefulness and tight end Gene Pugett's determination, Washington put together the only score either team needed. Washington later added a field goal as George Allen's geriatrics kept their slim playoff hopes alive with a 10-0 victory. Little did they know that their cold weather perseverance would soon be rewarded. In Shea Stadium last week, New York's Richard Todd found rookie wide receiver Wesley Walker for 2 big plays. One of the big plays turned into a fumble, one of 4 turnovers for the Jets. The other big play was the touchdown, which put New York ahead with less than 2 minutes left to play. With more than 21 yards per catch, Wesley Walker has the highest average per reception in the entire NFL. But the Jets could produce only 10 points, and that was not enough to beat Buffalo's top passing combination of Joe Ferguson to Bob Chandler. Chandler has caught 53 passes so far this season, more than any other wide receiver in the NFL. His 53rd came with only 40 seconds left in the game, just in time to beat New York 14-10, giving the Bills a split of the intrastate rivalry and a tie for 4th with the Jets. In Miami last week, Don Shula's Dolphins had to beat Buffalo and then hope New England would defeat Baltimore. The AFC's leading passer, Bob Griese, got the Dolphins off on the right foot with this screen pass to Nat Moore, who followed number 66 guard Larry Little for a 67-yard gain. Nat Moore continued to show his exceptional value to the Dolphins as he scored with his 13th touchdown of the season, more than any other receiver in the NFL. A later screen pass to Nat Moore was almost a mirror image of the first, as Moore again picked up 67 yards behind Miami's superb downfield blocking. In all, Bob Griese concluded his season by completing 10 of 14 passes, including touchdowns number 21 and 22, the most in the NFL this season, and a Miami team record. The rout was complete when Griese handed off to Gary Davis, who found 60 yards of open field awaiting him. But his celebration was somewhat premature. The Dolphins defeated the Bills for the 16th straight time, 31-14. But later events in Baltimore would seal their doom for this season, despite a remarkable record of 10 wins and only 4 defeats.